and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of November 29th. I'm Catherine Alecko, and I'm here with Terry Morrow.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast, we talk about parenting issues, but once a week, Terry and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. So this week, in kind of a departure from our usual, we watched a movie that just came out pretty darn recently.
When we watched it anyway, not when you're listening to this.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so it's Tick, Tick, Boom. I believe it came to select theaters, but of course we watched it on Netflix.
Yes.
We would. And I mean, I don't know if I can go to a theater anymore. Like the shaky camera situation has gotten so bad for me that, the slightest amount of movement, and there was a little bit in this, causes me to just break down and not be able to continue watching. So anyway.
I did not notice that, but it does not bother me, I guess.
There was a little, but so this Tick, Tick, Boom is kind of an autobiographical musical. Is that what we would call it?
I guess we could.
And then it was made into a movie by our old pal Lin-Manuel Miranda, and it was filled with cameos and guest turns
my goodness,
from so many people. Yeah,
jam-packed.
That was so much fun. I
yes.
mean, Bradley Whitford, like almost unrecognizable, playing Stephen Sondheim.
Oh, unfortunately recognizable enough to me that I was going, that's Bradley Whitford trying real hard to act like Stephen Sondheim. Maybe there could have been some Broadway person who I would not have had such a knowledge of that would have been a little bit more. If they couldn't get the actual Stephen Sondheim, I guess he would be age-wise not appropriate. But yeah, that kind of took me out of it a little bit. Sorry, Brad. I'm buying it.
But the original creator of this musical was Jonathan Larson, who is most known for being the creator of Rent, and then unfortunately passing away just as it was opening. So we never got to know the incredible success that show had. But this is telling the story of him before Rent, when he's a struggling artist in New York, living in a scary apartment, having his life. Oh, now we have my dogs deciding to join in. Boy, this week we have Missy on all of our other episodes, and now we have my dogs.
Anyway, dog about this week.
Yes. So yeah, this is his really starving artist moment. And it was an interesting movie, just in that trying to figure out, like, okay, what is fictional and what is happening now? What is happening in, like, is he writing this show or is he writing a different show? Which he was working on a different show, but it was a little confusing, basically. The time.
Well, I think it was. I'm not sure Tick, Tick, Boom was its name at that time, but it was originally a one-man show that he was doing about the creation of this other musical and the pressure of turning 30 and still not making it and all these things going on in his life. And then I think after his death, it was sort of reconfigured as a 3-person show. With the 2 other characters who were played by Joshua Henry and Vanessa Hudgens in this. And so it was about this creation of Superbia that never really went anywhere.
Yes.
As seen through this show that he did about it, which eventually became known as Tick, Tick, Boom. And so you're going in and out of that. Plus you just have all the fun of cinematic stuff, when you break something out into a movie, which I thought was done really well.
It reminded me of some of In the Heights, some of the sort of like graphics on the screen
of the movie In the Heights.
The movie.
Yeah. I felt this worked a whole lot better. Maybe it's because I was less familiar with the source material. I don't know. But I was just ready to ride with how they were roller coastering in and out of things, because there was so much music in it. So it was clearly not, a documentary of his life at that time. It was clearly sort of through his musical lens. But holy cow, Andrew Garfield. Wow.
Yeah, I know. He can sing. He can do everything in an American accent.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
He was really good.
I think they cast him because maybe he looks a little bit like Jonathan Larson did at that time. But man, he did fantastic. And I read something in the LA Times. There was an article that said he had never sang publicly before the first workshops for this thing.
Wow.
So little bit of a baptism by fire there, man. I've never sang publicly, but let me be in a movie where I am singing pretty much the entire thing.
Where I am playing a musical theater genius. Let me do that.
But I just think he did a terrific job with the character who could have been insufferable, but I think he did a good job of just expressing his charm and anxiety and sort of the force of music that he really was sort of helpless in the wake of. Right. Just a captivating performance, I thought. And when I heard he was the lead in this, I was like, isn't that Spider-Man?
Right.
Oh, okay. But he was great. Such a good performance.
Yeah, he did a really.
I mean, everybody in it I thought was very good. And other than I'm so sorry, Bradley Whitford. Other than that performance, which I just so very much did not buy, everybody was great. Robin DeJesus, who played his friend Michael,
he
was in the original Broadway version of In the Heights.
Oh, okay.
Maybe versions before that. He played the young cousin who is in the store with Uznavi.
Sonny. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sonny. And so seeing him in this now, older, is so cool. I do feel that, I don't know if you are somebody who is super duper into Rent, as obviously Lin-Manuel Miranda is, and I'm sure a lot of the people involved in this were. If it would be more meaningful or if you would be more nitpicky, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a level I probably don't get. The only staged production of Rent I have seen was the one at my daughter's high school. And I went to it full of trepidation because really, they're doing Rent?
Yeah, that doesn't seem like
our school board signed off on this, did they? I didn't get the outraged memo, but anyway, they did beautifully. The only thing I thought about it that was maybe not appropriate for high school is, holy cow, is there a lot of singing in it? And by the end of the evening, you could tell that teenage voices maybe not quite up for it.
Couldn't handle.
Yeah, there were some very tired sounding voices by the end, but they just sang their little hearts out, and most of the subject matter was there. I had never seen the actuals, so I don't know what they cut, but for the high school, my friend works in an elementary school, and they're doing the junior version of Into the Woods. How can there be a junior version of Into the Woods? It's Sondheim. Fourth graders can sing Sondheim.
My son's high school did it, but it wasn't the junior version.
Well, but I mean, I can see for high school, but there's there's some dark stuff in there. And it's Sondheim. Should little kids, can they do that? I mean, are they able to? It's not easy music to sing. Anyway, getting back to this. So I saw that stage version of it. And then I saw the movie and I saw the live version they did on, who did the live version of that? And then it wound up not being the live version because somebody injured himself, and then they had to show the dress rehearsal. Vanessa Hudgens was in that, right? I think she was in that. Anyway, so I have sort of a cultural knowledge of it, but I'm not somebody for whom the theater sun rises and sets on it, as I know for many people it is. So do you have any particular connection to Rent?
Not really. I mean, I did see it on Broadway.
Okay.
But it was at least 20 years ago, if not more. So, I'm familiar, but I'm definitely not an obsessive fan by any stretch. So yeah, it's not, I also feel like I probably didn't get a lot of references that they might have been making to it.
Yeah, I did.
So,
it did.
I mean, I did get the Schuyler sister reference when they had Renee Elise Goldsberry and Philippa Sue sitting next to each other in the diner.
My gosh, that scene in the diner, it was like we needed bingo cards to spot the Broadway legend.
Here's Cheetah Rivera just hanging out in the corner.
Because I had been, as is my way, sometimes when I watch stuff, I go to IMDb to say, that person looks a little familiar. Who's that? And I'm scrolling through the cast and then I get to this ton of Broadway names and it's all says diner patron, diner patron, diner patron, diner. I'm like, what the heck? And, this is what they meant. And the thing where he's in the class with other composers the first time he meets Sondheim. There was a bunch of actual composers in that group, including Alex Lacamoire. I saw him there. Hi. And, I think Stephen Schwartz and was the one who did Jason Robert Brown, who did The Last 5 Years, amongst other things. So it was, and a bunch of other people that I probably, I recognize their names now. I would not have recognized their faces. So it's just like, Lin-Manuel Miranda just put out an open call. Right.
Here's what we're doing. It was almost like a, what do they call it? A flash mob.
Yeah.
Because they were singing and dancing.
Of classically famous Broadway people. Oh my goodness. So cool. So that was very fun. That was like a fun little Easter eggy things all the way through.
Yes.
And lots of people from Lin-Manuel Miranda's past productions and very interestingly done. I really enjoyed going on that ride. And did not at all have a feeling like I wanted to stop and say, does this really all hang together and make sense? Or what do I feel about this character and his relationships? And I was willing to go along with it. I mean, I feel very sorry for his girlfriend, but sweetie, he's not going to go to the Berkshires. I've known him for 1 hour. Surely you know this. So...
Yeah, my husband watched it with me and went in so cold, to the point where it got to the end and they were saying, the whole thing about how he died right when Rent was opening. And he's like, what? He died? Oh my God. And I'm like, well, yeah, I did know that.
It just makes
But anyway, he enjoyed the movie, even having just absolutely no idea what was going on.
That's very good. That speaks promisingly for it. I was looking around for reviews and the ones I was able to find seemed pretty positive, which is not necessarily something to be assumed about so very musical a musical, and also about something that people may have devotion to and not want trampled on in any way. But it was certainly respectful and loving. And oh my gosh, yes, the fact that he dies right before his biggest success makes the whole thing completely heartbreaking. Yeah. And tick, tick indeed. But
although I wanted to know what happened to his friend.
Yeah.
Because, they reveal that the friend reveals that he's HIV positive, and this is, barely, it was 1990. So it's possibly ended badly for him.
That was really a flashback to have that male friends being lost along the way and all the posters in New York City. And but that, of course, was a major theme of Rent as well.
Exactly.
So that and the living conditions and the power being turned off, I think those are things that got ported over to Rent. And very good, very nicely done. And fun to watch, and something I feel like I'll watch again a few times just so I catch everything. Would have to use the pause feature to identify every single person in the diner and every single composer in that class and all the other. Hey, wait, is that? Stop, rewind.
Let me check.
Yes, it is. Pretty much, if you say is that, the answer is going to be yes.
Yes. Yeah, it's too bad. Netflix doesn't seem to have that thing that Amazon Prime has where you can mouse over.
That would be so helpful.
All those details, those pop-up.
I need to have pop-ups on these. Yes, you're correct. This is stage actor so-and-so.
Right.
But what fun to get sort of that whole community together to do this tribute.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a production of Tick, Tick, Boom. I remember it was during the days when I was following Lin-Manuel Miranda obsessively post-Hamilton, where he and Leslie Odom Jr. and Karen Olivo did a production of this.
Oh.
That would have been interesting to see. I bet that would have been good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's certainly the life of a composer, sort of driven to create material, is something he can identify with.
He can certainly.
So, I would say definitely if you have any connection to this material at all, or if you just like music, or if you just want to see Spider-Man sing, or if you just want to like sit and go on a ride, that's a heck of a lot of fun. It's a good movie to watch.
Yeah.
Very, very good performances all around. And a fun way of presenting the material, I think.
Mm.
And also spot the famous person. Well, if you're into theater, busy. Spot the famous person. Yes. You're not. There's Bradley Whitford. Look.
And Judith Light. I mean,
yes.
She's been on quite a number of TV shows.
Judith Light, who I remember most fondly as Karen on, I believe it was One Life to Live when I was in college, where she was a housewife prostitute.
Of course.
Slash prostitute. Wife of a doctor. She had a sister who was a nun.
Needed something to do during her.
Yeah. She was messed up. But she was so good.
She was good in this.
Yeah, she was very good in this too. And just lots of people doing good work in roles large and small.
Right.
So fun.
So check it out.
Yes.
Tick, tick, boom. It was definitely worth the 2 hours.
Absolutely.
So. And next week, we're going to return to our old pals at the Richmond Football Club for the second season of Ted Lasso.
Approaching with trepidation, given the fact that many people seem to feel that the second season was not good.
Well,
we're going to be positive, right? Upbeat.
Right. Just like Ted
We're going to have the memory of a goldfish for all those negative reviews.
That's right. And we're going to do 2 episodes a week. So first up, our season 2, episode 1 called Goodbye, Earl, and episode 2 called Lavender.
Alrighty.
And that's going to be it for our round 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes. We have something new for you every weekday. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Bye, Terry.
Bye, Catherine.
Goodbye, everyone.